Okay, welcome folks. Today I am by myself for this trunk updates video, and the reason why is because nobody is actually here today. Ultra's somewhere. I think he left the country at some point. And Alcopop's just, he's just him. And I don't know where Checkers is, but I don't know if he plays this game anymore. He should be a dev. But yeah, there's just like no one's here. I don't know. So I'm here though, and that's who you come for, right? Me. Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. I gotta record because I need to leave in about 35, 40 minutes. So there's been a lot of changes, and these are the ones that a lot of people have been pretty pissed off about. So I'm gonna briefly explain to you guys what it means, and I'll tell you what I think, and I'll see how we go from there. So the first one um, is like evocations. This should be just a whole big block. So I'm going to read out which ones I think are like the ones that are really important, at least for me. This thing's pointing away from me again. God damn it. Okay. So the one that I think is the most obvious is really strong. The two ones are like ones of, well, in the last trunk updates, we figured out that ones of haste, heal wounds, and teleport are gone. So that one was the big one, and I hated that because they buffed the number of the consumables to compensate. I'm using like quotation marks, but you can't see it. Um, and it was pretty much an embarrassment because like they gave you like 16% more haste, but you rarely get more than like 3. So that's 16% of 3 is not even 1, so that's amazing. You get almost like 0.2 of an extra potion, so that's pretty good. Heal wounds getting 10%. Oh wait, was it haste 10%? Or was it 16%? One of the two. It's 10, 16, 25, so 25% extra teleport, which is ironically like the least useful change. I don't know, it was just shit basically. And every time I've come on to crawl. In the last couple of games I've played, I've just been like, I got 2 haste potions, I have no chance of getting more. Like, this is really fun. This is so good. But that's like the worst of the changes, mostly. But the next follow-up one is really annoying. One of Disintegration no longer destroys terrain, and now Digging destroys statues. So they basically, statutes? No, statues, right. I was like, what the hell? Um, Essentially this change is retarded, kind of. Like, it's pretty stupid because it just really is one of those like half-assed dev moves where they're just like, oh, we'll get rid of the mechanic and then we'll just leave the shitty thing to die and wither on its own. The Disintegration Wand is absolute batshit garbage without its disintegration effect. If you're using it as an MR based damage skill, why don't you just fucking remove it and replace it with like Ice Blast or I don't know, any of the new ones? Why is it still in the game? You remove Disintegrate, so that halves our kill hole potential, and also shrinks the amount of wands that you actually want to keep as anyone. Um, well, we'll see with the rods. But really, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't seem to have been buffed from what I've tried of it. It seems to just be the same old, which really makes you question why it's still in the game. It's like, it doesn't fucking do anything right now. It's literally just like Wand of Flame, except it does more damage and it's MR checked. What? Like, what is the point? Just put, call it like Rod of Iron, make it do like a shotgun effect. You know, make it like, um, full screen, like just missile, like Wand of Stone Arrow. It's the same shit. You didn't need to have disintegration in the game anymore. Like, yeah, I was annoyed at disintegration being removed because they were also saying we're going to remove digging, but that's a different point altogether. But they've kept it in the game, and now it does fucking nothing. So it's like just a non feature. It's like the fed ass change. You put the decompose on an ability, and you remove prayer button. But then basically, it's always better to use the prayer button anyway by macroing the ability onto said prayer button. So like the prayer mechanic is still there, but you just remove the feature to make it look cool, right? Like you removed the feature, and then all the mechanics are still like just. Sorry, you remove the mechanic, but all the features are still sitting there, just doing nothing. And they're like basically left to die there. It's like, it makes no fucking sense. Just remove the wand. It's so half-assed. It's weird. Like, I don't get it. And the issue that I have with disintegration and digging, mind you, is mostly the fact that you have absolutely no control of your terrain anymore, and that will lead to a lot of fucking annoying gameplay. Imagine if you only got one corridor in a floor, and then the next floor you didn't get a single corridor, or while you're exploring the next floor. You would have to pull every fucking group of enemy up to the stairs, and then pull them all the way to the corridor to get a good, like, get that same positional advantage. Otherwise, you're basically fucked. So what it means is digging and disintegration being removed essentially puts you at the mercy of the terrain, which is entirely RNG. If you don't get a corridor, you're gonna have a bad time. There is no longer any, like, there's not so much tactical, like, maneuverability more than there just is run back, run back, run back. So now optimal gameplay becomes even more fucking annoying. Not even optimal, just like safe gameplay. Like, instead of fighting three guys, just instead of retreating to a corridor in the known on that floor, if you don't have one, you're basically shit out of luck. Just go upstairs, stair pull one of them at a time, drag them all the way to the corridor, and then see what happens from there. Like, it's gonna be fucking disgusting, and I hate it. But we'll see. Hopefully they don't remove digging, but once they remove digging, I don't know if I'll still be playing, because, like I said, a lot of things have changed, but having to rely on RNG for even like movement is retarded. See random energy, and having to rely, like, having RNG like position wise is just stupid as fuck. Like, it's really stupid. Having RNG for making a good like being hit out of nowhere for making the best possible decision is just like, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And in this case, it's going to be even worse because, like, now you have random energy and you also can't create a corridor. It's like, ooh, feels good, man. But digging hasn't been removed yet. It's still in the game, but I'm waiting to see when they will remove it. Also, my mic is fucked up. I apologize. One sec. For some reason, I just can't get it to point to my face, and that really pisses me off. One sec. Yeah. Close enough, whatever. It's like kind of pointed at my chest, and I'm like, close enough. Hope you can't hear my heartbeat, because that would be kind of awkward. Well, the levels seem okay. Anyway, so the next one is like, rods have been removed. So that's, like, I've said this in the last video that I uploaded, or maybe the second last, but that essentially means that there is no more permanently like on-demand rechargeables, other than the evocable items, which are very slow to recharge. So what that essentially does is it means that evocations will never ever be a like high power main offensive skill. You can never use it as anything more than a sidearm, because essentially you're never going to be able to reliably recharge anything in the game. Every single evocable now relies on EXP gain, which is slow, or recharging scrolls, which basically means that you can never use evocations as your primary damage type. It has to be a weapon, or it has to be ranged, or it has to be magic. So essentially that has been removed. For example, previously, if you played a Kobold of Nemelex back when it was evocations, you could use rods really effectively to just like kind of blast shit away, and then use your weapon as a finisher. Now it's kind of the opposite. You use your weapon to fight, and your your wands as a finisher. But I highly doubt that that would be an effective game type, because you're so limited in the amount of shit you can get. I've already played a game or two where I've gotten to like maybe a lair or a rune, and I haven't even found, like, I found like one fucking wand, like literally wand of cloud. That's it. Like, I haven't found wand of scattershot. I haven't found. Oh wait, never mind. They already removed the other ones. There's only wand of scattershot and clouds, and they're rare high power wand types. But why the fuck would you ever want them? Because they're goddamn useless. You have to train evocations, and then you have to rely on recharging scrolls. It's like, what the fuck? No. Why would you even have, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a really retarded way of, like, removing things and then, like, having them. You could just have rods still in the game, and then just call them evokables and not have to wield them. That would just be like a simpler fucking way of doing it. But no, apparently we're going all the way in like this. They don't recharge, so keep that in mind. You have to literally recharge with recharge scroll, and that's RNG, and that's great. That's good for the game. That's really fun. Anyway, so Wands of Clouds have apparently been buffed a little bit, so they don't do the steam and fog clouds anymore. That's decent. I think at low levels they do Mephitic Cloud, and later on they do like Fire, Ice, all that garbage. And I still think the Draining Cloud and the Corrosion Cloud is still intact, so that's not bad. But like I said, it's fairly underwhelming. Our arsenal of wands is like just shit now. It's kind of the same thing as amulets. There's really no contenders for like the top tier ones. Like there's like one or two. So for amulets, it's basically like faith, regen, and reflection, and then all the other ones like pretty much trash. I mean, some people say that Spirit Shield is good. It's not that good. It's just like, it's decent, but in cases where you're not playing with mana, you probably don't have enough mana to make it like amazing. And in cases where you do have mana, you probably don't want to be losing that mana because you're using it for something else, like a mage. And also there's also mana regen, so there's no point. Same thing here with wands. You basically want digging, and everything else is just bullshit. Pretty much. Like, I really doubt that the Wand of Clouds and Scattershot are gonna be like amazing. If they are, fair enough. But like, given that they're just the same as their rods, it doesn't look like like from the way they write it here, it doesn't look like the numbers have been buffed. So like, no, I wouldn't use it. So basically digging is the only wand now. Everything else can be ditched pretty much after lair or after a second rune. That's pretty much it. Like lightning wands are useless, ice plus wands are useless. You maybe have like one. Acid wands, like you maybe have one at best, and that's about it really. Like you wouldn't use disintegration, flame, confusion, enslavement, random effects. Like none of those are fucking useful. So it's completely pointless. And Scattershot and Rod of Clouds, if they're that rare, then they'll never be used. Anyway. Disc of Storms being replaced with Lightning Rods, so they removed Disc of Storms, which I know some people like, but honestly it's not that good, guys. If you like it that much, it's like, relax, dude. It's just Disc of Storms. Play Draconian, hope you get a black, and you'll get the same thing. But really, Disc of Storms, anything that hurts yourself is not really great. Anyway. So Lightning Rods basically removed the old Lightning Rods, and now they basically have, it's like a rod, but instead of recharging naturally when you rest, it recharges with EXP. So it's kind of like a hybrid of the two. I've already shown it off in, I think, Demon Spawn Abyssal Knight 1 or 2, and it's not that great anyway. It's the same old, but you got less charges, pretty much. Or kind of the same amount of charges, but then, like, in the long run, less charges, because it recharges slowly. 1 power scale significantly better with evocation skill. Too bad all the ones are memes. Some ones have sub LOS range. I think that refers to Wand of Clouds. I don't know if it's any other ones, but it basically doesn't say. But I do know that Clouds does not have max range. Wands can't be evoked while confused. That's fine. There's absolutely no wand you want to use anyway. And wands of slowing have been removed. Fair enough. No one really cares. No one uses that. It's just another meme wand. Why don't you just remove every other wand? It's fine. So this is the next one that I really laughed at, because it pretty much just proved exactly what I was saying before. New race, Barakians, a species of frogmens with great hatred for leather tea. They have a powerful innate hop ability, blah blah blah, like some bullshit blink ability to balance this. They have slow movement and ghoul tier attributes. So let me describe to you a race, please, and I want you to think really like carefully about what race I'm describing. I want you to think about a race that has overall very vanilla stat and aptitude distribution, usually around the negative ones or zeros, maybe a +1 here and there, maybe even a -2 if you feel really crazy. So basically just a human. And then I want you to slap on 2, maybe 3 gimmicks onto the character. So let's just say can't teleport, can't teleport, can't haste, and you can wield 2-handed weapons and a shield at the same time. Okay, let's call that a race, right? Or how about we slap on can't heal but can regen a lot. Oh wait, no, wait. What about if we put can't is undead, but that's about it. What if we put is a large guy? What if we put a guy that's like just kind of slow? What about if we put a guy that's like kind of slow but can hop? But they're all the same, right? You, this is another character. This is another race that's literally just human with a reskin. Like it's just another fucking like demigod. What about a guy that can't what about a guy that can't worship gods? Yeah, let's just put that mutation pack onto the human and we're done. Let's call it a day. There's no anything with aptitudes or anything now. It's just literally pick your gimmick and play. Like, it's a fucking stupid idea, but whatever. Like, the whole thing that captured me in the beginning was like the way they like kind of told you something in the aptitudes. Now it's not the case anymore. Like I saw this thing briefly. It's literally negative ones and zeros across the board. There's like fucking nothing special about this character. It's just, let's just put a gimmick on him and yeah, it's done. Easy game. Huh, easy. Like it's just fucking retarded, but whatever. Like, let's just make a feeler. Let's just make an octopode. How about if we create a human, but then like they can't wear armor, but they can wield 8 rings? What about 10 rings? What about +1 AC? Yeah, that's pretty good. What about a human that's really small and can eat things? That's pretty good. What a good race. Classic design. Anyway. Oh god. Like where's the Spriggans, man? Where's like the trolls and like all that cool shit that we used to have? The aptitudes like tell you the story. The mutations are like beneficial to that story, but it's not like it's kind of interesting, but whatever. We'll see. So new spell, Poisonous Vapors, level 2 Poison Air. So this is because they remove Poisonous Cloud. You can see it below. But it's smite targeted and basically creates a poison cloud on a target creature. So essentially what that means is against a non-R poison enemy, it's going to 100% poison them, which is pretty good. It can also be used to, in a similar manner to Conjure Flame, you can actually use it to block off corridors against enemies that are smart enough not to walk inside. Poison Cloud's also really effective in melee if you can actually keep them in that cloud. And it does not seem to function like Conjure Flame. So you can actually put it on top of someone. So you can basically just melee someone and then just poison vapors them. It's kind of an interesting concept, and I agree that Poisonous Cloud is kind of useless now that Olgrebs is like 100% better than it, and Freezing Cloud does the same thing. Poison Vapors is pretty good, and it does fit in with the theme of what do you call it? Venom Mage. Like generally, it's very good early game, and it does make up for the lack of Cure Poison, which previously there was absolutely no replacement for. So I'm quite happy with this change. Like I said, I don't think that Olgreb's Toxic Radiance should be that like overpowered, but whatever. They remove Poison Cloud, same thing basically. So that's a buff for players. Oh, excuse me. That's a buff for Venom Mage. It'll make them pretty much the same though. Like unless you go, I think that Venom Mage will become a lot more melee oriented with this specific type of like spell. It seems to be a lot more effective when you can hold someone in a corridor and tank them in the face. So it could be pretty interesting. We'll see. Apportation scales significantly more with spell power. Its targeting also gets a bit better. So I assume that it means that at low spell power it's not as effective, but it's a level 1 spell, so it shouldn't really matter. Your current regeneration rate is shown in percentage. That's good. I don't really know why it's not in like in Shift 2. Like they've been removing a lot of the information in Shift 2, which really makes me wonder why it's still there. I honestly think that Shift 2 could like show Mindelace, like swing, regenerate, all that crap, MR, and all that stuff. Like you could just have a quick summary of your character and it'd be a lot better than Shift 5, but whatever. Like it seems fine. Deep Dwellers can now benefit from the special effects of Curious Armor. No one uses that armor, it's shit, so don't worry about it. The displayed resistance chance for Siren/Avatar Song is now shown correctly. It was formerly miscalculated and underestimated their power. So I guess that's fine if you read the monster descriptions. I don't really do that because I know roughly how hard it is. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Clearing multiple zigs will make the figurines you find within glow in new and exciting colors. No one cares. Okay. In addition to summoning gold dragons, so apparently TSO can actually summon gold dragons. They can also use poison stingers. So I see what? What's a poison stinger? Oh right, the mutation poison stinger, like from the Green Draconian Tale Part 2. It's pretty good, I guess. But the fact that it's like, well, summoning gold dragons, I don't think will actually make TSO like amazing early game. It's pretty good actually. I don't know. Like I think TSO's piety gain is still too weak for it to actually be able to like, in order for it to be good to summon golden dragon. Like I honestly think that like the same issues are still there, so TSO will not be that great in the early game anyway. Iron Giants can't throw your orbs of destruction back at you. That's fine. Iron Giants are unbalanced. It's no longer possible to directly acquire an item directly to deep water or lava. If you're doing that, you're kind of silly, but okay. Cerebov scumming has been removed. Wizards can now rest inside walls. Blast sand. So that's just 3 random bullshit things that like they just put at the end without any discussion. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? No one, like, why do you even say that shit? It's so useless. It doesn't actually tell you anything of use. Please. Anyway, so a bunch of like random shit here. Doesn't look like anything interesting. Remove hand. Warren here says the removal of haste and heal wounds is a game-altering change to the 15 rune ability of most race/class combos. Now there are a specific set of deities and race class combos that give 15 runes a decent success chance. Everything else has a low chance of surviving. Thus, this change has limited the gameplay of Extended, thereby once again removing content from the game and replacing with silly niche items. Well, Warren, that's a very good concern to have, but I will say this, there was already a specific set of deities and race class combos that give it a great success chance. Having the ones does help, but it's actually not as big of a deal as you think. Like, I would say that in most scenarios, the amount of stuff you get for a 15 rune will pretty much be enough to cover you. Maybe you just can't spam quite as hard as you used to be. But like, this doesn't sound like a guy that plays a lot of 15 rune, I guess. Just looks like an assumption, but that's interesting. So Pleasing Fungus, I think, is talking about Cerebrov's coming. If you steal Cerebrov's rune without killing you, he periodically appears. If you had some sort of disarming, you could take his unique sword and... Oh, so basically, nothing. It's a non-issue. Alright, so, yeah, that's gonna about wrap it up for today. Unfortunately, with like no other person, there's no one for me to actually argue with, so you can just take my word as war if you feel. But yeah, like I'm not a fan of the way that the like big changes happen every time the trunk updates come, and you guys know that. I've never really been a fan, and it's not gonna be I'm not gonna be a fan in the foreseeable future. They seem to like really enjoy fucking things over. Like even when they make a decision, they can't do it right. They just fucking wreck it really hard, and then just like whatever. What was that thing that we got rid of? It doesn't matter. Just leave it in the game. It's fine. Like they either do one thing like horribly silly, like make ogres a polearm race and a mage race, or they do shit that's like half-assed, like Wands of Disintegration no longer destroying terrain, but still staying in the game, meaning that you just have a wand that does fuck all nothing. Like, Disintegration is not that good. Replace it with Ice Blast every time, 100% of the time, and you'll have a much better experience in your life. Ice Blast is superior. Like, if you're in melee with something and you're in a corner, why are you using wands for? Use an acid wand. There you go, done. Problem solved. Like, I would much rather you just, like, literally replace Disintegration with a second acid wand, and I would be happier. Because Disintegration is fucking worthless now. Like, it's so worthless. It's just, oh god, what an embarrassment. Like, just shit like that is, like, so half-assed. I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. But yeah, if you were to ask me, is this, how does this trunk, like, match up to, like, the old trunk? I would say this one is, like, significantly worse. Just in that like the way they've compensated for things and the way they've like made changes just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. It doesn't feel like it's actually going to keep the same player experience without fucking like the whole goal of the game should really be to remove like the bullshit stuff, but essentially keep the player difficulty the same roughly. But because of the way that the devs do it, like I guarantee you there's one fucking dev out there that's just looking at the tournament win rates and being like, it's the same, it's fine, it's the same thing. But then they don't like account for the fact that like players are getting ridiculously better. So essentially the game is just spiraling down into a difficulty spike after difficulty spike after like think about the game difficulty from 0.10 or 0.12 or whenever you first started to now. Think about how much more difficult it is compared to before. Like and you realize, holy fuck, this game is hard. Why is it so fucking retarded now? Like it's not even like hard in a way that's like challenging. It's just a hard in a way that's like fuck you. For example, Spark Wasps, Shock Serpents, Old Iron Giants, Depth being an absolute clusterfuck, Entropy Weavers, RLX nerfs, like all that shit. Like all that stuff like just makes you feel like shit because you get fucked by RNG. You don't have Arc Road. Good luck, buddy. Hope you could 1v1 a guy while you're negative 28 slaying, dickhead. Oh, it's also faster than you, by the way. TBH, easy game. Oh, you see that enemy that's RLX? I hope you have the most rare resistance because electric damage is in every second branch now. Oh yeah. So like basically get fucked if you don't have the right RNG. It's kind of annoying. Or you could use your one resistance potion because you're only going to get one the whole game because they did something to fuck up the RNG because nowadays you don't get any fucking resistance. It's so rare now. It's weird. Kind of disturbing actually. But you know, apart from that, yeah, the game's falling into the shitter, but that's good. And it's like I say these things, and then people like Gamma and Whimsican, they come in and they're like, "Lol, you're mad about our changes? Oh lol." I'm like, "Fuck off, guys, just get out." Like seriously, like it's bits like that that really make me wonder if they actually give a fuck about the game, or if they're just like doing it to fuck me over. Nah, just kidding. That's a funny joke, but no, no, no. In seriousness though, like I don't know, like eventually you're gonna realize, like I'm gonna realize that the game just ain't what I want to play anymore, and then everything will be gone, and that sucks. But it is the truth, and eventually it'll come out. But it might not come out this year, might not come out next year. Who knows? Like we'll see. But ultimately it's my decision to make, and I wouldn't have to worry you guys about it. I will just, like I said, put it on the table because that. Ooh, ow! I just dropped my foot on something. Ow. Um, like ultimately it's my decision to make, and you know none of you guys have a say in it, unfortunately. I wish you did, but you don't. So there you go. So once I stop, I know that this channel will be closing, but I don't know when that's gonna be. So that's a depressing note, but ultimately it is true. Like a lot of YouTubers won't stay on forever, and I know that my limited lifespan will be as glorious as it can be. I will stay with the game for as long as I reasonably can. And once it becomes like just something I don't want to play anymore, then sorry guys, you'll have to find someone else to play or watch. Or you can just quit yourself, it's fine. But yeah, now I'm depressed. Damn it, I cleaned the floor today and I was like, feeling good. Feeling clean. And then I'm like, came up here and I'm like, I'm gonna go roast some fools. And then at the end I'm just like, I wanna die. Anyway, yeah, just ignore this whole this whole last 5 minutes. I'm just kind of ranting because the video seems kind of short, and I always feel bad when the video is like 20 minutes long. It just doesn't feel right. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty much just ranting at this point. The Greater Player series will be like 100% continuing. I don't care how much I hate the game. I will finish that at the very least. I also want to start the not beginner friendly one, and that would be my joy. So like, you know, that'd be cool, I guess. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like because for some reason my like buttons are broken on this channel because I haven't been getting enough likes. And as we all know, my disgustingly large ego needs feeding, and unfortunately I can't feed it myself because that's not how egos work. Well, I do look in the mirror and say, delicious, for about 4 hours, but that's not enough anymore. Like, my ego is becoming bruised, and we don't want it to become bruised, right? So, give me a band-aid, give me a like, and I'll see you all tomorrow.